Hello, everyone, and welcome to another movie review. I am happy you can join me today. So, as I promised, I watched Emilia Perez. I mentioned in my last video that after the movie won a few awards at the Golden Globes, I read that there was a controversy surrounding the movie. So, for that, I did not want to see it. However, last week we found out that it won 13 Oscar nominations, so I felt compelled to watch this movie to see why it got 13 nominations. So I watched it, and after I watched it, I did some more reading, and I found something quite interesting. The critics disagreed with each other. Some gave it 5 out of 5 stars, calling it the best picture of the year. Some critics gave it 1 out of 5 stars. I also noticed that the movie fans also disagreed with each other. Some gave it 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 stars, calling it the best of last year. Some moviegoers gave the movie a half a star out of 5 stars. So this is the most polarizing movie in recent memory. But there was a lot for me to digest. So after I saw the movie, I decided to go for a walk, and then I finally started writing this review. And I must admit that this review is a little on the long side because there is a lot to say. To be fair, I am going to give this movie a standard review. I'm going to give it a grade, my opinion on it, and then I'm going to share my opinions on the controversy and the Oscar nominations. Okay, so Emilia Perez is considered to be a musical thriller. It was directed by Jacques Audiard, and it is based on his opera libretto of the same name. The opera libretto was based on a novel titled Écoute. It was shot in France, but it is predominantly in Spanish with certain scenes in English. It premiered at the Cannes Film Festival back in May, and the running time is 2 hours, 12 minutes. So, Zoe Saldana, in case you did not see it yet, Zoe Saldana plays Rita Castro, who is a lawyer. And the film starts with her working on a case. She gets a phone call from Manitas Del Monte, a drug kingpin who arranged to have his men kidnap her. Why? Because he is in hiding. So he offers Rita a deal. If she can arrange for him to have a sex change so that he can start a new life, he will pay her 12 million pesos and she'll be rich. That includes Rita traveling to Tel Aviv to find a doctor to perform the gender-affirming surgery. And also that includes her arranging for him to fake his own death and send his wife Jessie and their 2 children to live in Switzerland. That's right, folks. By the time Manitas decides to transition, he is married with 2 kids. His wife Jessie is played by Selena Gomez. 4 years later, Rita is working and living in London, and at a dinner party she meets a woman named Emilia Perez, played by Carla Sofia Garzón. Now, Carla Sofia Garzón is Spanish. She's not a Mexican actress. She's Spanish. And she figures out Emilia is the same drug lord who hired her to arrange the surgery. Rita freaks out and she wants to know why Emilia is there and what she wants from her now. Emilia says to her that she misses her children, so she wants to hire Rita again, this time to arrange for Jessie and the kids to come back home to Mexico. She lies to Jessie and tells her she is Manita's cousin. Emilia and Rita open a nonprofit to help missing loved ones out, and Emilia uses her second life to set things right. However, when Jessie falls in love again and wants to get married again, Emilia turns on her and things take a turn for the worse. So throughout the entire movie, Jessie is completely in the dark about Emilia. Rita keeps Emilia's secret, And in the end, I am no longer rooting for Emilia nor Rita. And the person I feel the most sympathy for was Jessie, because she is the only person out of the three that made the most sense to me. Um, so I am going to give this movie 2 out of 5 stars. To be honest, this movie just did not work for me. Whatever I read about the controversy and other people's opinions of the movie, I actually put that aside, and I watched this movie on its own merit. So for me, it was 2 out of 5 stars. The movie just did not work for me. I understand why people love it. I understand why people hate it. Those that love it felt that it was original and bold, and they thought that the acting from Zoe and Carla were top notch. Those that hate the movie, in one word, they thought it was offensive. The trans community thought it contained stereotypes about trans women. The Latin American community thought it contained Mexican stereotypes. And when the casting director was interviewed, she mentioned that they tried to hire Mexican actors for all 3 female roles, but the roles went to Carla, Zoe, and Selena because they were more talented. So a lot of Mexican moviegoers were offended by that as well, because they felt that they could have found talented Mexican actresses to hire. In addition, a lot of native Spanish speakers thought that Selena Gomez's language skills were terrible. I take their word for it, but as an English speaker who spent half of my time reading the subtitles during the movie, it really doesn't matter to me. This is not the first movie that Selena has done in which she had to act, sing, and dance. She is the best singer out of the three. And in my opinion, her acting was believable in terms of conveying the right emotions in the scenes she was in. So I would assume that for a native Spanish speaker, her poor language skills was probably a distraction. Another reason why the Selena's language skills don't matter to me, I'm a New Yorker, and people from all over the world live here. So a lot of New Yorkers like myself, not all of us, but many of us, we tend to forgive people who don't speak good English. What matters to us is that people try to learn English. They try to communicate in English. So I am very forgiving of people whose English is not very good, whose pronunciation of the English language is not very good. I have gotten better over the years at figuring out what people are saying underneath their heavy accents. Getting back to the movie, one reason the movie did not work for me is I don't think this movie had to be a musical, even though it's based on an opera libretto. And to make matters worse, I thought all the songs were forgettable. When I finished watching, the first question that came to my mind was, this movie got nominated twice in the best song category. And I'm like, which 2 songs are these? So when I went on YouTube to listen to the 2 songs in isolation, I was surprised because I'm thinking to myself, who the hell nominated these songs? Now, I mentioned in my Wicked movie review that I did not like Wicked as much as most people did. But I have to say that Wicked got 10 Oscar nominations and Wicked got robbed, which is pretty incredible as to how the Academy was able to nominate a movie and then get it wrong, and because they robbed the same movie. But I say that because, did anyone notice that Defying Gravity did not get nominated for Best Song? And I'm wondering why not. Another reason I did not like the movie has to do with Emilia and Rita. Like I said, Jessie was kept in the dark about Emilia. for the entire movie until the end. And she had no clue that Emilia was her dead husband who transitioned. When Emilia did Jesse wrong, Jesse reached out to Rita out of anger. She was angry with Emilia. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to spoil it in case you didn't watch it. But towards the end of the movie, Emilia had a chance to tell Jesse the truth. Rita had a chance to tell Jesse the truth. But by the end, I was no longer on Emilia's side and I was no longer on Rita's side. I understand that Emilia's secret is not for Rita to tell, but the fact that Jessie is Manita's wife, yeah, I think that she could have made the courageous decision. So whatever Emilia got in the end, she deserved it, and I did not feel sorry for her at all. After watching the ending, I came to realize that from one perspective, Emilia is not the complicated protagonist the movie makes her out to be. She is the villain simply because she had complete control over Jesse's life before and after the transition. And Rita knows that. To keep the truth from Jesse was selfish, and for Rita to go along with Emilia simply because she is getting paid is also selfish. I look at Rita and I feel like with the right price, anyone can be bought. So it just didn't work for me. I may be looking at it wrong. I will admit that I could be looking at it wrong. I don't know, but to me, Jesse was betrayed by both of them, and I can't get past that. So yeah, Jesus. What I found confusing was when the Academy nominated this movie for Best International Movie and mentioned that it was from France. But then I found out that the director is from France and it was shot in France. But that would explain why a lot of Mexican moviegoers are mad. If it is a success in France, I would understand that. But the fact that it got 13 Oscar nominations and the Oscars is given out by the Academy is an American organization, that is a problem. The Academy has a history of nominating unpopular films, but that's not what's happening here. It's okay to nominate an unpopular movie. It is not okay to nominate an offensive movie, especially a movie that offends the Latin American community, which is the fastest growing community group in the US. And for that, don't be surprised if this year's Oscars is one of the least watched Oscars of all time. This might kill ratings. Having said that, I am not upset with most of the nominations it received, and I will explain why. From 2013 to 2017, Cheryl Boone Isaac was the president of the Academy. She was the first Black woman president, and one of her top objectives was to diversify the Academy. Prior to her becoming president, the vast majority of the members at that time were old white men, old white male. The average member of the Academy was 63. So by the time her term was over, she made some serious changes. She invited younger people and more people of color to the Academy. So you can become a member of the Academy out of one of two ways. Number one, you either get invited or you get nominated for an Oscar. Now, I'm bringing this up for a reason. A lot of people are very angry as to why or how Emilia Perez got nominated for 13 Oscars. Okay, so a lot of people are angry. So the way I see it is this. Selma Hayek got nominated for Frida. Alfonso Cuarón won Oscars for Gravity and Roma. Guillermo del Toro won Oscars for The Shape of Water and for Pinocchio. Therefore, I assume the Academy has Mexican members. Okay, I don't know how much because I'm not a member of the Academy. So my question is, did anyone write an email to the other members asking not to nominate Emilia Perez because it is offensive to Mexicans? Now, you have the LGBT plus community, aka the Pride community, okay? Elton John won an Oscar for Lion King. Sam Smith won an Oscar for one of the James Bond movies. Cynthia Erivo was nominated for Harriet. Hollywood is a liberal left-wing place. If you don't believe me, watch the Tony Awards, watch the Emmy Awards, okay? They come out in full force. So now my second question is, did any gay person write to the other members of the Academy to ask not to nominate this movie because it offends the trans people in their community? Those are valid questions. So we can sit here and wonder why this movie got 13 nominations and what the Academy was thinking, but the only way something like that happens is if enough members believe that it's that good. So it's just a matter of opinion. I don't like the movie. I would not have nominated it for most of the Oscars it got nominated for. But if people think it's good, what can I say? So I got questions. As I mentioned in my last video, there were other movies that deserved nominations. The Piano Lesson got snubbed. It got shut out. Baby Girl got snubbed. And did anyone notice that Dune Part 2 got shut out of the acting categories? Yeah, that movie also got nominations and it got robbed at the same time. Because to shut out Dune Part 2 out of the acting categories, make it make sense, because I don't get it. So when it comes to the Oscars, we cannot ignore the fact that, a lot of these nominations depends on politics. And we also cannot ignore the fact that the Oscars is a form of a marketing campaign. As much as we would like to think that the Oscars is celebrating the best of film, you cannot ignore the politics and the marketing aspects of the Oscars. So the question is, does Emilia Perez deserve the kind of marketing and recognition that comes with 13 nominations? In my opinion, no. To some, they say yes. And I'm okay with that. If you like it, okay. We can all agree to disagree. Having said that, I'll watch the Oscars anyway. That's all I can say. This is a long review, I must admit, but we'll see what happens. I still have to work on my Oscar prediction list, which is coming out on Sunday, the last Sunday of February, exactly 1 week before the Oscar ceremony. So so that's why I needed to watch this movie, so that I can clearly make my predictions and see who I'm rooting for and who I think is going to win and who I think should win. But anyway, that's all for today, my friends. I will see you next time with another movie review. Until then, take care.